When I arrived home after midnight, my hands were clenched from the cold and the poor hospital gloves I was wearing. I worked long shifts. My shoulders ached from bending over an elderly patient for more than an hour, trying to help her breathe. The emergency room was chaos, and like most nights, I skipped lunch, running instead on adrenaline and burnt coffee. But as I stepped inside, I felt a tiny glimmer of warmth in my chest. Christmas was coming. The lights I'd strung up last week still blinked softly along the living room wall, a $10 set from a corner store, but they gave the space a heartbeat. My tired eyes drifted toward the packed suitcase by the front door. As Patricia always loved, I had wrapped the presents the night before. Neat gold ribbon, a bottle of red wine, and a big container of spiced rice. They always praised that rice. Every year. Never remembered who made it. Thought it came from a catering service. I never told them otherwise. I had just taken off my shoes when my phone rang. I didn't need to look at the screen. I knew the voice, my wife's younger sister. Always polished, always composed. She said in that sweet, curated tone, "Darling, I just wanted to check in before tomorrow." I braced myself. Gingerbread cookies? An extra tablecloth? Instead, she said, softly, "Don't come." At first, I thought she was joking. "Sorry, but don't come. We're just trying to leave a particular impact this year." I stood, in the entryway, unsure how to respond. She mentioned her boyfriend, Grayson, the internet investor, the billionaire who made his first million at 19 and buys wine more expensive than my rent. Then she added, "We just want it to feel better this year," as if I were something less. I said nothing. There was nothing I could say that wouldn't come out raw. Then I heard her mother, my mother-in-law, without even waiting for an introduction. "We'll just pretend we don't know you if you show up." Harper tried to smooth it over, but no one corrected her. "So you're saying I'm not invited?" She hesitated, then said, "Maybe it's just one dinner." I hung up, stood in silence, the apartment suddenly too quiet, too hollow. Like sound itself had been pulled away. I walked, over to the little tree, just 5 feet tall. Half the ornaments gone, but all of it, ours. I looked at the bag, the gifts, the champagne, the rice, and I felt something shatter beneath my ribs. Not despair, not rage, just stillness. I sat on the couch and watched the lights blink red. Blue, green, no longer warm. It wasn't the exclusion that cut me. I've never been the favorite. To them, I was just the quiet nurse, the boring one, despite working 3 jobs to support the woman they all claimed to love. They said they respected me, but when it came down to it, they cut me out without hesitation. Years ago, Patricia cried to me over a mortgage 2 months overdue. I paid it in full. When her credit collapsed and she totaled her car, I co-signed the loan for her new one. They knew I'd show up, and I always did. But that night, the rice cooled in its container, and even though I hadn't taken off my coat, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat and let the silence speak. It wasn't about Grayson. It was never about money. It was always about control. They never saw me as one of them. I wasn't glossy. I didn't fit their image. So they cut me out. But the thing about quiet men, we don't fight loudly. We don't beg. We wait, and then we walk away. That night, I didn't call anyone, didn't post about it, didn't explain. Not even to Patricia, who was already at her mother's house, helping them prep silverware and practice their accents. For the billionaire dinner. Let them put on a show, because I had something they could never quantify, something that didn't need to be in the room to be real. And they were about to find out what happens when you lose the man holding the seams together, not out of anger, but out of peace. That night I chose to build my own table, not fight for a seat at theirs. Being unloved can be strangely freeing, Not all at once, but like the cold, at first it stings. Then you stop feeling. By morning, I didn't send a text. Didn't ask why, because I already knew. It was never about who I was. But who I wasn't. I didn't wear designer cologne, didn't dazzle at dinner parties. I wore hospital scrubs. Came home smelling like antiseptic, with a sore back. They wanted polished. I was real. That morning, I sat at the edge of the bed, in the apartment I built with her. The same place where her family laughed, drank wine, hosted birthdays, ate my food, but never acknowledged the cook. They never saw the man behind the curtain, but I kept the receipts, medical journals, bank records, wire transfers, the house in my name. The boutique lease, my name. The emergency fund, I funded it. I managed it. They never asked, and I never told them, because I believed being helpful was enough to be valued. It's not. That morning, I logged in, froze the emergency fund, paused. The rent. No calls. No messages. I just stopped carrying them, and it felt quiet, but balanced. They thought I was quiet because I was weak. I was quiet because I was calculating. That day, I took a walk. No phone. No notifications, just air in my lungs, snow crunching beneath my boots, children laughing, strangers helping strangers, and for the first time in years, I felt real, and I knew. I was getting closer to something more. After an unsuccessful Kickstarter effort, I immediately established a shell investment firm, provided financial support, and sent it. She was able to pay off her debt and open the boutique in the name of Brinfield Holdings, thanks to the wire transfer. Everyone in Midtown complimented her, Harper, saying she was a genius and quite resilient. When I withdrew that funding, she mentioned someone had assisted. I told the firm's proxy to decline, but I never told her. I called the leasing office after the next round and informed them that Brinfield Holdings would no longer be providing her with rent guarantees. There was no anger, no resentment. Because when a tree pulls its roots, it doesn't scream. It simply stops growing, and the leaves fall. I didn't block or unfollow anyone. I didn't send texts or chase numbers. I simply became silent and invisible in a way they had never seen before. Every relationship is a system. And for years, I was the invisible one. But this time, it was subtraction, not surrender. The backbone that's always there, holding, balancing, absorbing without being ostentatious or noisy. That was me. I didn't want praise. I didn't need thanks. All I wanted was respect. But when Patricia threatened to act like I didn't exist, and Harper said, "Don't come for Christmas," I simply granted them their request for my absence. And when silence isn't what's keeping the beams together, it's collapse. I remember walking to the window that afternoon, observing the snow-covered pavement beneath. A boy and his younger sister were making snow angels on the edge, laughing, puffing out their